Good morning. Welcome to the Big Three and Me. I am your host, Akil Patterson, joined by my co-host, Dominique Hamilton and Akeem Hunt. So we are happy to have Principal Rahh, a brother that we happened to meet during one of Dominique's Twitter spaces, and we wanted to bring this man on because we saw value in what he was doing. And so just to give you guys a little background, he is coming to us as an educator of young people, and he is giving them crypto. Now, he's not just saying, hey, here's a couple links, go click on them. He is giving them a cryptocurrency in which when they complete a program, they'll be able to walk away with it and cash it out at some point if they so choose. But if they're smart, they'll hold on to it. So, Brother Rahh, welcome to the Big Three and Me. Glad that you could join us today.
Oh, no doubt, man. I appreciate y'all for allowing me, Dominique. I appreciate you for allowing me to just add value to the space and be a community with y'all. And then the added value of being on a podcast. I just want to say this. So right now, that's what we're building, right? So in regard to, for those who don't know, I'm a principal born and raised from Compton, opened my own school out here in Watts 4 years ago, just added value. We had a 100% graduation rate, and then got into crypto. And then now I'm the founder of a startup called K-12 Crypto. So before we started that, we just started to teach kids around investment in the capital markets. Then we started to teach them around investment in cryptocurrency. And then what I found, there's a difference between investing in crypto and building in crypto. Like those two things are fundamentally different, you know what I mean? So we wanted to start to build in crypto so we can now reward our students off of metrics that they meet. So our pilot ideally is set for August 2022, where we piloted out to 1,000 kids across the country in which they earn community tokens based off of metrics that they meet. Currently in my school, my students are working on like an NFT project that they'll be releasing in January, just off of their own digital art.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. You're doing big things.
Outstanding. So, brother, why don't you just take us back in time and talk about how you got here? Talk about kind of that transition from being that dude from Compton who could have gone either which way,
Right.
And I'm only assuming you're a 90s, 80s kid, so, you lived through a very rough and turbulent time in your community. Talk about how you went from that to what you're doing now.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You see me with this Compton hat. For those who don't, I wear a Compton hat wherever I go, just to change the narrative about people that come from my city. There's so many people, so many dope educators, intellects, artists that come from the city that people just, they just see straight out of Compton and they just want to depict that of everybody's journey. You know what I mean? I come from a family of educators, man. My father he built the Black Studies Department at Long Beach State. You know what I mean? He hired the person that invented Kwanzaa, Dr. Maulana Karenga, and I'm the youngest of 6. But still with that though, I thought all my family was square, you know what I mean? I'm like, yo, y'all ain't getting no money. Y'all ain't education. Like this ain't it. Like y'all, this ain't it, Pops. You know what I'm saying? So I was the kid that just wanted to be a rapper. My rap name was Solo. You know what I mean? For those who from Compton, they know, Ujima Village is no longer here, but I used to go rap in the studio, Ujima Village. They called me Solo. I was part of a rap crew called G Life for the Miracle 3. And, I didn't see the relevance in school. I was always a brilliant kid, but I didn't see nothing that was too amazing around just learning math, English, history. And then my parents took me out of Compton Unified, moved me to Long Beach, graduated, got a scholarship to Tuskegee for football. And I got a scholarship to play defensive tackle, right? And I get there and the coach was like, man, you'll be a great pulling guard. I said, man, don't you ever disrespect me like that, man. I'm a defensive lineman, man. Don't disrespect me like that. So I'm 17, arrogant, and I tear my PCL, my MCL playing basketball. And me and the coaches got into it, and it was like, yeah, you can go back to Compton if this ain't what you want to do. And at that time, I'm like, send me back to Compton then. And they sent me back to Compton. So I came back and I read this book. I actually kind of went through like a depression, not figuring out what I want to do in my life. And I read this book called The Alchemist, and it kind of changed my life. You know what I mean? I read the book and the story of Santiago to find his hidden treasure in life. And I was always a hustler. I always was a motivator. I always was the youngest in my neighborhood, so I always inspired people. And then, education chose me, man. All my family was educators, and then I became a teacher assistant at a non-public school. And my eyes was just blown away off of like the educational system. Even though you go through it, you don't know how crazy it is until you start actually working within it. And then I was inspired. I said, I got to be a teacher, because I was a teacher assistant. And I was working with this brother who was a teacher, and I was teaching math. And he was sitting back literally at his desk while I'm teaching the kids math. Like, he wasn't being able to, I remember like it was yesterday, he was teaching one-step equations. And I'm like, bro, listen, man, you go to the swap meet, you get 2 white tees, you get 2 packs. I'm doing culturally relevant teaching. And I'm like, damn, man, I'm doing your job. And I'm like, man, how much you make? He's like, I'm making $6K. I'm like, yo, I'm making $14 an hour, man. It's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So I went to go take my test. I became a teacher. And then I started teaching in the hood in Watts, where my father grew up, and Markham, if you know Markham, it's in the hood. Markham is in the center it's the epicenter of Watts. And just a quick story, it's in the middle of 4 rival hoods. You got Bounty Hunters, you got Imperial Courts, the PJs, you got Grape Street, and you got the Hacienda Heights. They all got their own elementary school, but it's not until they get to middle school where they all come together, and it's cracking, right? So at that moment, I'm 20 years old as a teacher now, and they gave me the class that nobody wanted. They gave me all the bad kids. I was the black male teacher that had to get all the kids and save all the kids. And the principal would literally call me to try to de-escalate. And I'm like, bro, you the principal. And then that's when I realized, like, man, I gotta open my own school. At that moment, I just said, I gotta be a principal. And then I just hustled, man. Like, I used that same street hustle mentality and hustled up some degrees. I went back to get my master's. And then I became an assistant principal at 26. And then my director seen me. He's like, man, it ain't that many black male educators. He said, bro, you need to put in a grant, because they was just releasing a grant to open up a school. And I said, man, I only been an assistant principal for a year. He said, so what? So I put it in there. I put in my vision. I wrote the grant, and they approved it. They accepted it. I became the youngest founding principal in LAUSD history at 28 and opened my own school. And I just wanted to build a school I wish I had. I wanted to,
No doubt.
want to have a music studio. I wanted to have a heat press. So we got a heat press up in my school where you can make your own merch. We got 3D printing. We got coding. Wow. We got all that. And we incentivized education, and, and the rest was history. And then I wrote my own book called Revolutionary School Culture, in which became an Amazon bestseller. I'll show this real quick. And I just started teaching other principals across the nation on like how to get active with kids, and then that's what got me to be the mentor of like older principals. Because like I said in the spaces, is that, the average principal is 46 years old, across the nation. And, in education, mass adoption always is late. Everybody trying to do podcasts now in schools, and podcasts been around, like that's not innovative. Like that's basic. Like we should be
just catching up. You're just catching up.
You just catching on. You just catching that wave. So it's like, nah, we need to get ahead of the wave. You know what I mean? Especially for communities like Compton and Watts. So I connected with folks, and we, it's on a mission to turn Watts into Wakanda. And that was just what we was trying to be like. And then any community that resonate with Watts, Detroit, Chicago, Harlem, South Bronx, East, all that. It's like, let's catch the wave. And then Web3, I'm like, yo, this is it. This liberation. And that's how everything just came together, and now we here.
All right, so you touched on one of our, so Big Three, we're focused on crypto, culture, and competition. Seems like you're doing all three because you come out of a sports background, but let me just be fair. There ain't nothing wrong with a pulling guard. There's nothing wrong with a good pulling guard. I mean. Right. That's how I made my my bread, but you said here you are with a golden opportunity to go to college, play division. It's D1 football. It's 1AA. It's still D1, and then you kind of say, nah, I don't want to do this. Talk about that just for a second, like the what if part of that, like if you would have stayed, would you have probably become an educator faster?
Yeah, I'm gonna touch on a few things, man. I when growing up, I thought I loved football, and I realized I really liked it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference between loving something and liking something a lot. You know what I mean? And because I remember going on trips. I went to Colorado, went across the nation, and then, y'all ball. You'll be the man in your own city, and then you get around the nation. You're like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like you get around. So I remember I going to Colorado, and I'm like, yo, I'm a senior, and I was just good at it. I was just good at football, and I got around that this was their only way out. This was their only way, and they woke up. They dreamed, they went to sleep, nothing but football. And I'm like, yo, we ain't about to play no video game. We ain't about to like it was different. And when I got sent home, it was easy for me to just be like, nah, I'm good. I'm a hustle. I'll figure something else out. So that process for me was a little easier to give up football because it was just something that I kind of liked a lot. And I ain't never had a problem finding a way to get money and surviving, So I think that for me, my journey, this was what I was born to do, man. Like, to be honest with you, like, this is what I was born to be, a principal to revolutionize education and to let people know you can walk in your authentic self. Because man, when I first started teaching, it was like, I felt like I needed the code switch. I had to become Mr. Raw and how you doing and all that. And then I surrendered the outcome. I said, man, that's not me. And I became just who I am, my authentic self, to show kids like, yo, I want you to walk in there with the swagger like you own the classroom and answer that quadratic equation and still be you. And it's fine. You can be smart and you can have swagger.
Facts.
Right? Like when my kids see me, they like, yo, like I want to be for that one kid. Like, damn, I could be a principal, have a gold chain and say revolutionary educator, drive a nice whip, have a family and kid. My wife come to my school, my kids come to my school. They see it, you know what I'm saying? So I want to be the representation, boots to the ground, not something that they just see on TV, but both and. Like they see me as an author, they see me as like, damn, like this is real, it's possible. So I think my journey was set for that. And if you know the story of Santiago, like finding your hidden treasure is really important. And that's mine, man, is to liberate young people, but liberate anybody that come in my zone of genius. And that's kind of, I don't know if I answered your question, but that's kind of like where I was at, man.
No, you did, and I think when you move towards liberation, a lot of people aren't aware what that looks like because their whole existence is based off of somebody else's version of a liberation. Not like, hey, freedom isn't about conformity. Freedom is about escaping what the conformity is giving you. And I was talking to a parent the other day. I said, you can't tell me that kids today need to learn the same way that they learned in 1676. Line up at the desk, sit there, and listen to what I say, because that's not how. I mean, we are in technology. Like, we having a conversation, and we are in 3 different states or 4 different states around 3 different time zones right now. Like, how are you as an educator telling people like, yeah, just sit in these desks all lined up and you can achieve greatness? It's like, that don't make no daggone sense.
Absolutely not. And I think that's what it's all for, because like, for example, man, I'm sure y'all, when y'all went to school, man, we creators, we born as creators and explorers, man. Like, that's what we do. But when you get to school, it's like, sit down, shut up, and walk on the line, right? Like, here's what you need to learn. And then they don't even teach you everything that you really need, the real skills that you really need to survive. And not just survive, but thrive. You know what I mean? Like, coming from where I come from, like, that's why I teach the capital markets to my kids. Like Wall Street Trapper was like somebody I connected with, because a lot of kids coming from where I come from, they understand buy low, sell high off the rip, right? They understand that. So it's like, why don't I give them the game off of, let me teach you this other game in the stocks. It's the same concept, but guess what? You don't gotta look over your shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I could teach you that, if I could teach you how to sell and how to market and how to brand, like, at the end of the day, in our country, one of the 2 biggest skills that anybody can have is sales and marketing. You know what I mean? Because that's just what it is. Like, at the end of the day, even if you're doing a nonprofit, you gotta learn how to sell it. You gotta sell your mission. You gotta market your brand. You gotta do, like, those are 2 skills that fundamentally in our country, if you have, you probably would never go without finding a way to thrive or at least survive. So I teach kids that. But more importantly, man, I just want to teach kids how to dream, man. Like when they get to me, like my school was a high school, a lot of them their dreams have been crushed. They start off like, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that. And then the school say, nah, you just better learn how to read and write, which is fundamentally good, but they suppress their dreams, man. And they get to me, they don't even know what to dream. They like, hey, what you dream about? Oh, I don't know. Ask any kid, most kids across the country, be like, hey, when the last time you dreamed of something? What's your dream? And what are you doing every day to work towards your dream? And you'll find it be so inconsistent, but as you go in the deeper, deep in the hood, you find that like it's scarce, man. It's scarce. You talk about NFT and scarcity, like dreams in the hood is scarce. You know what I mean? So that's what we're trying to do, man. And that's really the birth of K-12 crypto in the startup world, because then I start to realize, like, in the ed tech space, man, it ain't a lot of people of color, especially ain't a lot of Black males in the ed tech space. So in the education, you got the big dogs, it's Class Dojo, Kickboard, like all these big billion-dollar companies that extracting low-income students, and they monetize it. So it's like, nah, how about we reverse engineer that through Web3, where the money now cycles to kids and to the families. You know what I'm saying?
You're doing a good thing, but that's what you just said, that last part, that's like the mold though. Like that shit's been going on for generations. Like that's what they want to happen. I mean, we're feeding the big companies, and we're kind of like in scary times. I was talking to my boy about that. Like we're kind of like in a time where I feel like more and more people are becoming knowledgeable about it. So like, I think, and especially, our culture, like they'll want to do something about it, take it out of the hands of that. So, I mean, it's kind of like, it's like, damn, is this really going to come to fruition? Like, are we going to be able to do this? Or, is something going to come out to prevent us from, going that route? So I don't know. We'll see.
Man, like that, what you said, man, that's like that imposter syndrome, man. Like even here, man, like I remember when I was selected to be the founder, I was like, damn, it's really gonna happen. Like I'm about to open my own school. Y'all gave me the keys to my own school. Oh, y'all done messed up, right? Like we about to turn this thing out, right? Exactly. And then it's the same feeling now, in the early stages of the startup game. It's like, wait, man, is this possible? Like because if y'all give us the key to this, oh, we about to turn this thing out, right? We about to be able to, like, imagine a kid, like my daughter, she's in first grade. Like, imagine that kid with a secure wallet that earned crypto for 13 years. You know what I mean? Like, and then they graduate and they got a bag waiting for, like, it's like Nip said, out here, Nipsey, like, listen, I may not know all the mental health thing, but I know you get some money in your pocket, make you feel different. You know what I mean? Like you got some hope, right? You like, yo, I can make some decisions. And like, that's where we at, like most of the kids coming from where we come from, let's be honest, we don't get exposed to high paying jobs. So if we do go to college, most of us is like, we do, and nothing against it, we go to like sociology, psychology, communications, a little liberal arts, and then we get caught with $40,000, $50,000 debt, and if we ain't lucky enough to hit the lick in sports or something like that, we go back to the hood making $40,000, $50,000. The math don't make sense. You know what I'm saying?
It don't make sense.
And then, so my kids look at their older siblings like, yo, it's cool. You're a social worker. You there. You booming, but you still got 60,000. You still right next to me. So you did all that work, and you still in the hood. Man, bet. I think I'm gonna take this other route. Like that's the. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but that's the psychology of many young people. It's like, why am I going to do all that to be caught in debt, still be in the hood? So that's kind of like what we want to be able to like reverse engineer.
Facts. It's funny. When I graduated from my from law school, everybody was like, parents were really happy. But then when I went to my homeboy's graduation at Morgan, in Baltimore, I'm looking and I'm like, and they say, please rise for the School of Social Work. Half the graduating class just stood up. Right. And they were like, please rise for the School of Financial Tech. It was 4 people. 3 of them 3 of them were Asian American. The one dude was black. Now, it's fintech, right? It's financial tech sector. It's at Morgan State University, an HBCU. Go Bears, one of the oldest in the nation. And yet they still got everybody like, it's almost tradition, like we got to go back and save the hood by going into social work. Instead of saying, nah, we got to go rebuild our hood by going into financial and tech sectors of the future. I really wish, and I'm not that smart. I got a thing for history and remembering things, but I'm not that smart. But if I could say, no, I'm gonna ask you, if you could say one career that you want to point your students towards, or at least 3 careers you want to point your students towards, what would they be? Because again, everybody's pointing them to go to HBCUs, but do they need to be at the School of Social Work? Where should they be looking into?
All right, so let's look at this, right? I think we all on here, can agree that Web3 is a now and the future, right? In regards of crypto, in regards to the space. So there's a big dev shortage across the country. So I'm definitely anchoring my kids to go into web development, coding, to be able to code smart contracts, to be able to do that, right? The next thing is definitely being able to do the UI, UX interfaces for web-based apps and all those type of things. And then understanding financial technology and what you said. Why is that important? Let's look at this. When in our system, when do they teach you around finance? They wait until your senior year and give you a semester of econ. Right, that's it. Like, one of the 2 most critical things that most people really need to understand is how the government works and how the economics work. Like, and that's the definition of capitalism, pretty much, right? Like how government and economics work together is capitalism, right? So it's like they give you that for 1 year out of your 13 years from kindergarten to 12th grade. Probably one of the most important. And then you get to the real world and you're like, yo, it worked like this. Oh, credit. I didn't even know about credit. Some people don't even get a credit card until they're 26. Then they can't do it. They don't know how to leverage credit. Then they don't care about their credit. And then they get to 35, they're like, yo, why nobody told me this? You know what I mean? And it's like, no, we got it. Like, so that I hit on a few things, right? Like, but coding is important. Why? Why is coding important? It's because it's exposure to a high paying job, but it's exposure to a high need area. And it's underrepresented. And if we want to rebuild the physical hood, like we gotta gain wealth, like period. Like, at the end of the day, what's the common denominator? Most people be like, hey, we need resources. Where do resources come from? Resources come from the dollar. I don't care what you say. People be like, hey, and it's always when it comes to us, when we try to leverage and build up, they're like, oh no, you should do it just out of the kindness of and the love and this. No, we need some capital. Or not, we go knocking on other doors and we begging, like Wall Street Chopper said, you give them permission to feed you, you also grant them permission to starve you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, no, I'm tired of us asking for somebody else for dinner. Why don't we become the kitchen and feed ourselves? Right? So that's why it's like, yo, we need to be able to learn how to code so we can develop our own. We need to understand finances. And we need to understand Web3 in regards of how we can create our own community DAOs, our own community venture DAOs, right? That recycle dollars back into different projects. And then now, guess what? We can now learn somebody real estate. Now we buy back the block like Nipsey Hussle was doing, and we create community centers. Why don't we fund our own school, right? Like, we can fund our own schools and start to say, like, no, those schools are not right. We are developing our own thing. And I think that's the possibilities of Web3. That's the possibilities of technology and the power. But it takes us to get into that infrastructure. And that's why, like, even to be honest, so this year is my last year as principal. Like, I'm going full time with building out K-12 crypto because, like, I revolutionized the educational experience for my kids and for the community. Like, it's a good school, they're going to be good. Now it's time to revolutionize the system. And that's the mission I'm on.
That's what's up, man.
Nice, bro. I like how you said something about learning how to code, because little do people know, it's all about the design. And what comes with design comes with the humans that's actually coding, and that provides the trust. So like you said, man, yeah, we do need those type of programs in the hood areas and in all the areas that are not like financially backed, you know. So design is a very powerful thing, and we need that in the culture, and that's period.
Absolutely. So that's why like we want to bridge it, because there's a bridge that's missing between like the culture and K-12 education, right? Like when I grew up, and many y'all probably can resonate too, it's like what you get in the school, you may get that one teacher, that one counselor that know what's up, that give you like, yo, let me teach you the way, right? Like let me give you game on the side. But if you don't have that, you kind of like getting a lot of your education outside. Like I believe like the primary source of education comes from the household. If the household is disenfranchised, it comes from the community, right? So then that's why you see a lot of people dive into the hood. That's where they learn it from. You know, they like, yo, school ain't connecting me. I ain't getting exposed, but the young homie around the corner is teaching me, hey man, this is how you can get some money. You go to drug game. Oh, this is how you can get some, oh, this. And that's the introduction at a young age. But what if we now start saying you introduced to crypto at a young age? You start seeing compound interest at a young age. You start understanding like, yo, there's a back end to this of actually coding at a young age. And now you see these two things working together. And like, that's what I'm really passionate about, man, is being able to unlock the hidden treasure of communities that look like mine so we can actually change it.
Well, you know what? Well, I'm with you on that one because, you know, I spent many years out in Baltimore, and one of my good friends, Aaron Maben, he always, he's an educator. He does art, but one of the things he used to say is he's like, man, these kids ain't got money for pens and paper, yet we're supposed to give them the creative outlets that they need to succeed.
Right.
And if you don't have those things, you cannot produce greatness, right? Like from the culture, oftentimes is because of a lack of, right? We build stuff because we don't have. Right. And so if you're building something because you notice there's a deficiency, how can others or somebody else that's going to see this podcast or know about the K through 12 revolutionary work that you're doing, how can they be supportive of that? Because I think that's also what is missing. I met with the vice president of Nike the other day. We were talking about innovation in crypto and talking about how they're building like, this new world. And I go, well, who's building it with you? Because I'm looking at a lot of the stuff they're doing, and not for not, it kind of looks like some shit we did in the hood a couple years ago. Right. Like, so who's building it? Is it us, or is somebody coming in and stealing that creativity? Saying that, oh, they're coming there. The homeboy. I know some dude that says, oh no, man, I used to go to the football games and I'd go there for inspiration. I'd be like, you still in their plays?
Oh yeah.
I know you still in their plays. That's what you're doing. You still in their plays, and then putting pistol offense on it.
Yep. It's a book by a sister named Dr. Jamila Lifescott called Black Appetite, White Food, right? And when you break down the book, it talks about our creativity around the hunger of our appetite, right? And we doing all these innovative things, and it becomes white food. And I'm gonna let you, really think about that, right? For like the extraction of talent, the extraction of a lot of different systems. But then I think about this in this space, like that's why this moment, what Dominique said, is really critical, because if we don't get in and build now, we're gonna fight the same fights we're fighting now in Web3. Like we'll be sitting here saying like, damn, it's the same companies doing the same things. It's the same infrastructure in this Web3 environment, in this space, that we're knocking on doors like, can we get in? Can we get in? If we don't build within, you know what I'm saying? So I think like that's what's really important. And anybody that's listening is like, for example, to later on today, I have my second. I've been on this for probably like 4 months. I got my second meeting with a VC, because they really interested with the tech with K-12, right? Like we were offered $250,000 for 5% equity. We denied. We really feel in this market, we have something that's really special that can really connect, because the tech as a service is really important to schools and districts. I'll give you an example. There's college going culture called Avid, which is a college going company that's been in school systems across the nation. They make $80 million a year, and not $1 goes back to the community, not $1 goes back to the pockets of the kids. $80 million a year. College Board assesses, y'all know those AP classes, you know what I mean? All those AP, SAT, we take the SAT, they monopolize the SAT, and they make $1 billion a year. I don't know about you, I don't remember the last time the SAT really predicted like outcomes for people in college, right? But it's $1 billion, right? So when you put these together, right, and you think about what is the possibilities of an infrastructure that exists with certifying educators in K-12, while also the tech that automates pay for grades and learn to earn, it's something that the valuation for our company is more than a $4 million valuation. So like anyone listening is own a piece of education, right? Be part of, because this is how we create a better world. Like, not too many of us, I mean, we all in this space, right? To build wealth. But for me, it's yes, the wealth, all that is good. But if it's not for a common good to build a better world, then really what's the point? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if y'all seen, it's hot out here in LA. It's like in LA, it's cracking. Like, I mean, what I mean by that, they robbing folks. They
what
doing
is going on, bro? Like, yeah, what is going on?
It's wild, but it's a byproduct of poverty. It's a byproduct of the elimination of like no extracurricular. So you get a whole bunch of people that don't got no money, don't got nothing else to do. When we grew up, we just start making up stuff to do, right? And if you're hungry, I mean, you got to go try to eat. So those are the type of things that we could decrease. Like, by not, like in 2008, there was research from Harvard where they actually paid cash for grades, right? They gave kids, 38,000 kids from Washington, D.C., New York, Chicago, Baltimore, they gave them actual money. And one of the scholars said, oh, no, this is unethical. So they swapped the program. And, I say to this, we pay for that if you like it or not. You know what I mean? Like, we pay for it. How do we pay for it? We pay for it with what society creates out of poverty, out of debt. So now you get people saying, well, I don't got no money. I don't got nothing to eat. So I'm gonna go rob to somebody. I'm gonna go catch somebody slipping. I'm gonna go figure out, so now we pay for it. We pay for it with our taxes. We pay for it with these bonds. We pay for it in different ways. So why don't we pay for it in the front end, right? Where now we create better citizens. So yeah, man, like that's where we at, man. If anyone listening is like, own a piece of education, man, it's really important. And this is the moment, because there's a lot of people that's building infrastructures not for us and not for the betterment of young people. And I mean, I've been there and I've done that. Anybody that come to LA, Compton, Watts, man, y'all come visit my school, check it out. I mean, we got kids from the hood there. I mean, we got Bounty Hunter, we got Crip, we got F-13, we got it all. But we do got love there. You know what I'm saying? We got success. So think about that being scaled nationally, and that's where we at, man. So we in the early stage, seed round, man. We in the seed round, and we ain't fully opened up fundraising yet. We just building relationships with people who want to be part of this project. And when we open up fundraising, that's when we're gonna try to hit the green light and let's go.
I like it. We didn't go ahead, Kill.
No, go ahead, Don. Go ahead.
Nah, I'm like, we on a very passionate topic. We might not have time for the three the big three.
Yeah, like so it gets the reason why, so we heard you, bro, and I know right off the bat when we heard you on Spaces, I was like, we gotta have this brother on. Like, I text these dudes, I was like, we're getting them on, because for each one of us listening, there is that moment where it's like, what was our aha moment? What was that moment that clicked for each one of us? Like, Each one of us comes from vastly different situations, scenarios, and backgrounds. The one thing that is consistent is that when you look like this, you already know you got to do something different. You already know you got to work harder. Like, you just know. So, and then for a black male educator to be talking about this, like, I think y'all make up less than like 10%.
Oh, less than 5.
Less than 5% of educators. And if you are a young person of color growing up or in a school and you don't, like, I remember his name, it was Mr. Pruitt. He was the only dude, he was a big black dude, he was like 6'5". He was the only African American teacher that I remember in the school.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. He was the only African American male teacher. There was 2 black women, but everyone else was like white, and I was like, this is stupid. I'm in a minority school, and there's only 3.
Right.
It making sense. And then when I was in a white school district for high school, there was a bunch of them. Right. And so it still didn't connect to me like, yo. So when I'm in elementary school and I'm at my formative years, because those are the formative years really, and my brain is being molded, who is it being molded by? Right. It wasn't Mr. Pruitt, because Mr. Pruitt was a teacher that yoked me up and dragged me out of class by my shirt and was like, boy, if you don't stop this mess, you're going to make it hard for everyone else.
Right.
Not knowing what he was talking about. So maybe just go on that a little bit.
Yeah, man, it's deep, bro. Less than 5% of educators, again, are black male. And you know how they got unicorn startups, right? Like, unfortunately, man, black males, you like unicorns in education. And if you connected and you culturally responsive, they promote you quick. They try to get you into positions in front of people because you're so rare, right? So one of my missions is like making education cool for black males. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you can come over here. It's cool on this side, man. Come on, right? Like, you could be in front of young people. You could directly make an impact every single day. But what's more important is I coach principals to welcome authentic black male educators. Because what happens is you get black male educators that come to the school and then they're suppressed. They're like, nah, you can't walk like that. Don't be like that. You got to be this way. You got to act this way. You got to be a certain way. And then next thing you know, they're like, man, no, this is too much. I ain't trying to do all this. Right, man? And like, first off, we ain't making a lot. So you got to think about this. Like, go back to what I said. Think about black males coming from at least where I come from. You make it, like Meek Mill said, like, man, championships. Like, man, I had to battle the streets, had to battle poverty, had to battle all these different things just to get my high school diploma, which was the championship. So I battled that. I get to college. Man, do I want to go and be a teacher? Man, I'm looking at like, yo, if I want to go to college, I got to hit a home run. I got to get at least coming out making 6 figures. So it's like a lot of people don't see, it's not no attraction to teaching because you're like, man, damn, like you got to be a special, like, all right, I'm going to go through all this and then be stuck with that and back teaching. And then you get a principal that's saying like, it's all your fault and you can't be your authentic self. Man, who want to deal with that? So that's why it's like, it's important. And I always put on my Twitter, like, people don't understand how much influence a principal has, right? To not only attract talent, to cultivate talent, to empower talent, and to also do that with young people in the community. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about our hoods. Like, you got, of course, we already know we got the church, right? Got the pastor. I mean, right now, there's a lack of governmental trust, but you got the mayor, right? But when you think about local, municipal, like, that principal for the community school is very, like, it's a trustworthy person. Think about it. I have my principal meetings with families. Families trust me if you're a good principal. If I say, like, hey, let's do this, I directly can influence a household by a meeting, right? I can directly impact youth. I can directly impact teachers like that. So I just think it's important for us to recruit more black male educators. But in the midst of that, all right, Let's build a bridge on how we can get more people like yourself who are people across the nation who's really passionate about it. Why don't we get you vendor license with districts that I'm connected with, right? Like, for example, my business and consulting for my book, I'm in New York DOE, which is the largest district in the nation, working with schools. We're in Clark County in Las Vegas, which is the 5th largest district in the nation. We just got contracted with Miami-Dade County, which is the 4th largest district. And then my current district is LAUSD, which is the 2nd largest district. That's 4 of the top 5 largest districts in the nation. That's what people don't understand is that everything that you do can be a vendor and a service for kids. You pass background, you do that, and you can work building programs. So it's a way to impact education without the traditional realms of being a teacher. But we got to get principals to see the value of Black males on campus, but also putting money to that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's really important.
No doubt. I wanted to ask, I wanted to touch up on like the crypto related things. Have you found out what would be like the main source of payout or profit that the kids will get once they, reach these certain stages or steps or accomplishments and whatnot?
Yeah. So in our pilot, it's going to be very simple. We're going to provide students with a secure crypto wallet, right? They're not exposed to the wider crypto markets, right? Like, you got Rainbow, Meta, like we're not doing that type of wallet. Our platform is secured in a learning management system, which is a wallet, but it's also like their portfolio in regards to being able to see how their grades work. If you see like your transcripts, imagine that, where they're like, okay, after every progress report, they will see the grade that they earn and the airdrop of tokens that allocate to that grade. So it's going to be very simple and capped out on a year. So we don't want no kid trying to almost make it more than the teachers in 1 year. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah,
but
no doubt.
It's like it's capped out, right? So like for example, man, my father or some of more affluent households, they'd be like, hey man, for every A you get $50. For every B you get 30. For every C you get 20, right? Imagine that same concept, but in a version of being airdrop tokens for those metrics, right? So now, then that's just the simplest form right now, right? Like, boom, you get A, B, and C, you get a certain amount of tokens, capped out. Like for elementary schools, it's like $800. As they go to secondary, it's like they can get to $1,000. When they go to high school, they can get almost $1,500 a year, right? But you think about that, where there's a certain circulating supply for the public to be able to trade, stake, and do in a treasury. So now that cap can be exponentially more because it's compounding every year, right? So
That's true.
That's essentially where we are at as this service that automates that, and that's where the tech comes in at, right? For its simplest form, and then we build upon that as Web3 creates. But that's our simplest form in the pilot right now.
Got you. And yeah, I was about to touch on something too. I like how that's laid out, because essentially now you're inspiring. I like to say inspiring. Now you're inspiring the parents to be more active in the children's life and education. So that's the recycle effect for sure.
Yeah. And when you add that, right, that's where the coaching of principals and leaders to leverage this platform to increase and to build better schools. For example, like what you just said, I'm glad you said that, because that's a nuanced level of leadership where it's like, wow, what if we incentivize parent engagement? What if now we said, we put allocations at a principal where we say, hey, we're going to airdrop your kid more tokens if you come to these meetings throughout the year. Your parents, you come to 4 parent conference meetings and you help support, your child will get airdrop an additional 150 tokens based off of your participation, right? And now it changes the engagement level, because most people be like, yo, I want the best for my kid, right?
And
so
that's facts.
That's what changes education. And then guess what? Authentically, a parent is gonna start asking themselves, like, what's this crypto thing that you got? Once they do that, that's the inquiry. Now we're able to educate. Now there's more to this crypto space. Oh man, there's something that's called an NFT. Oh, there's something that's called DeFi. There's something that's like, now as the years go along, now when that kid gets to 6th grade, they're asking like, dang, I got like $8,000 in my wallet. But I only started with $1,500 in 4 years ago. You see how that grow? Right? Oh, what can I do after this? Oh, you got to swap it. What swap me? Oh, let me teach. Now it's happening through conversation. Now it's happening through just different ways. So that's really what we're trying to build, bro.
I see it, bro. I hear it too.
Yeah, I appreciate that, family.
Well, yeah. So, well, I want to go ahead and get this out of the way because, like we said, we touch on sports, culture, and crypto. I love the crypto section, so I wanted to ask, what's your big three cryptos right now? If and you can't say Bitcoin or Ethereum.
Okay. Yeah. So my big three right now. Take Bitcoin and Ethereum out. All right. So I am part of the Sheev army. I am part of that. I am part of that.
We won't hold that against you. As long as you don't save another S in it as an M in it, I'm cool.
Okay, no, Sheev. And then I am staking. I do like the Wonderland project.
Okay.
I do like Wonderland. I'm staking in Wonderland with time.
Nice.
And you know what? I'm big on this metaverse play. It's a little low right now. It's called Binamon. It's a play and earn token that is part of the metaverse, and it's running for 30 cent right. I mean, like 18 cent right now. It went up to 72, but it's a project I really care about. I like it a lot. So Binamon is my third. I'm really big on Binamon.
Real quick,
nice.
The staking with time, you're doing that through AVAX, right?
Yes, sir.
Is it? I mean, it's legit. It looks.
Yeah, it's legit, man. I didn't took my money, put it back in my Coinbase, and reinvested it. Yeah, so, yeah, and I'm probably gonna add more to it because it's dropped a lot. The market done dropped. So yeah,
facts.
Yeah, I'm big on time.
Gotcha.
Bro, that Wonderland when it first came out, that AP, oh my God.
It's still it's at like 82% right now, 82,000%.
That's still straight. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's still at 82,000%.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And the AVAX gas fees is damn near free compared to Ethereum.
Let them know, man. Let them know.
Yeah. My boy Josh Tatum told me about time, and he's out from Cali.
Yep.
I was like, it must be big out there. Like, like everybody is on it out in Cali.
Yeah. Nah, I'm on time. I'm chilling with it. I'm chilling.
I like that you had the metaverse. Is play to earn? Are they playing it right now?
Yep. They got one part of the game is already out where people are it's like the racing, like they got a race and all that stuff right now. And then they're gonna build a battle game to it. So yeah, it's it's just like, how you find that project, you're like, yo, this is my little gem that I want to just hold on to. So that's mine. I'm hoping that it has one of these runs like with Axie Infinity. You know what I mean? So that's because Axie Infinity is like, I mean, they the hallmark right now. So I'm like, all right, well, who's gonna be number two? There gotta be a number two. So I'm just like, all right, let me put my bets on this project real quick.
No doubt. Yeah, I definitely see the metaverse, like the metaverse tokens and coins, the ones that are actually here to stay during that bear run, or whenever it's a bear run, or if we even have a bear run, they're gonna continue to go. I mean, like you said, Axie Infinity showed us that this year. So when everything go to shit, people got to do something, right? Stay in the crib, have fun, stay safe, and make your money, man. Just like with all these other projects, like I heard Axie Infinity in the Philippines, they was making like $13 an hour. Some of them was making like 20 an hour. Depends on how you level up and if you invest your value into it just to get that value back out. So yeah, man, this metaverse deal with the NFTs, they don't did something with that for sure. They definitely did something.
Absolutely.
You telling me the biggest brands in the world are getting into NFTs and something ain't happening? Like people are like, "Oh, this is a rug pull." I'm like, "Rug, boy, are you crazy?"
Yeah.
Like you got Nike, Adidas, Puma. You've got
Coach.
luxury cars. You got Rolls Royce. You got Louis Vuitton. You got everybody getting in to the metaverse. So when you tell me, "Oh, it's a rug pull," nah, save that for somebody that's stupid. Save
Right.
that for them some. And you know what? Here's the worst part. Don't save it for no 10-year-old because the 10-year-old's the one that's telling us this stuff.
And they
Right.
getting paid.
Facts.
They getting paid.
Right.
It
Go
is what it
tell
is.
it. Go tell it to the 40-year-old dude who be trying to psych me out, who's trying
Right.
to get me not to invest in this stuff
Right.
because he knows it's worth a lot of money, and they just like to say they just like that FUD. Like, no, you ain't doing that to me. You were not gonna scare me. Stop trying to pump your bullshit product. Excuse my language.
No, it's all good.
Stop pumping your BS projects that ain't got no utility, that have no backing, but oh, it's cool, it's fun, man. And stop using those words
Right.
like somebody
Right.
dumb.
Right. Nah, it's wild, man.
They trying to act like we stupid. Like, boy, okay, you take your little pudgy penguin and you walk away from me starting now.
Yeah,
Because-
nah. I think like that's where the education, man, especially for our people, man.
Like you
It's
said,
the
yep.
education. It's the
Yep,
education.
we need it.
Well,
And
brother,
like,
oh, go ahead.
I was just about to say, like, yeah, I mean, it may be like a unicorn for black black males to educate, but it's like, why does he even have to be like that? It's
Right.
like if the child relates to what they relate to, they're going to obviously learn and want to learn from that person. So it's like, man, like, hey, we just got to knock the door down, and it is.
That's it. We knock the door down and build our own doors.
Mhm.
Multiple doors.
Multiple.
Doors. You know what I'm saying? So everybody, I call it the pipeline to power. Like that's really what we're trying to do, man. And that's what I feel like I've been called to do. It's been a tough road because it's like, man, I love my school, but you know how you at that crossroads where it's like, damn, I regret not trying to do it. You know what I'm saying? I regret it. So, it's like, all right, let's get it. So when some other stuff come up, it's like we ain't talking about somebody, we talking about some black owned projects. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's, I don't know, man. I can go on and on, man. Y'all know. I can
I'm
go on
already
and on.
knowing.
Well,
I'm already knowing.
Hey, trust me, fam. We will follow back up. I think next time I am in the LA market, I will reach out to you. Like I said, there's blessings around every corner, so you never know what venture capitalists I might happen to have in my back pocket in your community. So I might have to lean on somebody, but I know where bodies are buried.
Yeah, that'd be dope, man. If you could just do an intro, that'd be dope, man. Like just being able to vibe with people, talk with people, I think is what's critical. Like even if they're not investing, it's just being able to talk and be in vibrations with people to have conversations with. Because a lot of people leave education out, man. If it's not even with me, it's just like, man, there's some babies in education that got it hard with some school environments, man. Like it's tough for them. And like and I mean, both can exist. We can do social impact and there's monetization as well. Like both can exist.
Mm-hmm. As I like to let our little fat friend from Canada know, your network is actually your net worth.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Well, in the interest of saving us all that wonderful amount of time, effort, and talent, Akeem, let's start with you first. Give me your big three for this week.
Market had a little tumble, but I did DCA, not financial advice. I still like my BTT. I like CKB, and I'll throw out Dayton Arena. I think I'm about to on board today and try, get some income off of that. But that's a metaverse project.
Okay.
Dayton Arena.
Yeah.
EHG, yes, sir.
You ain't text me about that shit yet.
Bro, we talked about it already.
So my first one, because I already know you're gonna call me next, is KDA. It is under $10 right now.
That's
it
a
was
steal.
actually $8 yesterday, so we already know that's a $150 token. I'm also gonna put. Do I want? Matic has done me dirty so much. I can't say Matic. I'm gonna say XRP. It's 79 cents. Like that's under 85 cents than it was last week. And we all know about XRP. And I'm gonna throw a metaverse project in there. I'm gonna go with Red Fox.
Nice.
Red Fox is going to be doing well.
Yeah.
So, and obviously, my big three this week. Oh God, I'm going to say that my big three is going to be obviously Omi Coin, and I know we're not supposed to say Ethereum, but it's so low right now that I'm going to just keep going buy some more because, I mean, it was at like 3,400. I'm like, yo, this is way down.
So that's actually what I'm doing. Like literally the last 2-3 days, I'm just playing futures with Ethereum.
Yeah, you got it. I mean, listen, Ethereum is just, look, I don't care what anybody says, and we got in that BSV Bitcoin thing last night, and I keep saying to myself, I'm like, all right, BSV, Bitcoin.
Listen, I want him. I want him on one of these.
Oh, you want that? Yo, no, I want to really get into this BSV thing, and brother, I'll try to wind this up as quickly as possible. But
Yeah.
So you telling me that's your third one?
yeah,
BSV?
I don't know why. I don't know why. I just listen. If there are people that are
I'm
behind
disappointed.
it, I just said my big three this week.
All I know is you check our history, right? Not just us three, but with David, with our crew. We've had many people come on our platform that
Say
was
no more.
convicted
I get it.
about these coins and tokens. We wrote them off, and that shit went to the damn. I'm talking past the stars, and that's what I'm saying. Like he may be talking crazy that he's saying this is the real Bitcoin and blah blah blah. But I'm gonna look into that. Like I'm gonna nah. I'm gonna really look into that. Like, and I get what he's saying. That by the end of the discussion yesterday, I said, okay, so this is an altcoin that is basically has a foundation of Bitcoin. Got it. Like that's what it feels like.
That's
So,
kind of crazy.
Exactly. So I mean, that's what I'm saying.
And they want to build on top of it and scale. Like they're building it so it's meant to scale. Bitcoin, BTC, is not meant to scale on top of. That is money.
Exactly.
No doubt.
Exactly. And you can scale on this one. And I mean, I'm sorry, but the price is attractive. It is. Let that shit let it get noticed or more and more people get on this BSV train. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna skyrocket. And we're gonna be looking back like that. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think I just sent the tweet out because I need to understand. I may need to jump on the hype train.
And again,
I'm FOMO in though. You see, y'all trying to get me to FOMO in right now. Bro.
I'm not FOMO. And first off, you can't FOMO in on something that's a price that's this attractive.
Say no more.
And I was asking people.
Look at this. Y'all got me about to go and get into right now.
You see what I'm saying? Like now I got to look into it.
Listen, I don't like Gary Vee I respect Gary Vee on a couple different levels, but one thing he said is there's two types of investors. There's the investor that has enough expendable income to like go in and see what happens. And then there's an investor that don't got no income, and so they've got to be very careful. Luckily, there were some smart plays that I made this year that I can go in and I don't have to be as careful.
No doubt.
And that's what I'm saying is ultimately I can go in and I can play with some house money. And if I win, I win. If I lose, I didn't really have the money to start with. So it's just money that, thank you Doge, that money I took out. Thank you XRP, money I took out. Thank you SafeMoon. That I took out, like luckily, because that rug pull just keeps on getting rug pulled. I'm sorry, I hate SafeMoon.
You funny.
When one day when people start coming on these shows and they're gonna be able to cuss me out in real life, I will enjoy this moment because I want SafeMoon to win. But for some reason, that trash just keeps coming. I gotta stop talking about it.
It's
So,
crazy.
with that being said, Brother Ra, Principal Ra, you got anything else to say before you go?
No, just to anybody listening, change the world. Don't let the world change you.
And if people want to find you or your company,
Absolutely. So you can follow me on Twitter at Principal Raw. That's RAHH. Instagram at Principal Raw, and then follow our organization at K12 Crypto at K12 Crypto on Twitter and Instagram.
all right. Well, as always, to our fans, thank you for joining us here on The Big Three and Me. I'm your host, Akil Patterson, joined by my colleagues, Akeem Hunt, Dominique Hamilton. We had our special guest, Principal Raw, and from always the team at G Media, the best in the game. We're changing the way that media is coming to you. The revolution is here. Don't miss out. And with that being said, have a great day and an even better tomorrow.